All right, guys. So you guys asked for it a bunch. Here's the 328i versus the 5-25.
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Yeah, I said it, we are.
The eyepiece is literally gigantic. It is absolutely humongous. As I mentioned earlier, you'll probably never be able to fit a trigger cam over this because it's insane. I'm gonna try to put it like next to each other, and you can see it like literally eats it up. It fits inside of the other one. It's huge. So in theory, the iBox and should be pretty decent. Again, 8x erector is always gonna be a little tricky. This dimension is interesting, how long this part is. Obviously, again, with the 8x erector, probably gave him a little more room, so it's always interesting to me that this is so much longer than this. As you can see on the rifle, I mean, you have the diving board damn near at the front of your objective. Other than that, there are two versions, DLR version, which is this one, 10 mil per turn, and then you'll have your standard version with, I believe, 16 mils per turn. You guys know that I'm a fan of 10 mil. I just think 16 is way too crowded. Then you still have your center mounted parallax per all Kahles scopes. You have this one down to 20, right side windage, illumination, so pretty standard on that side of the house. The magnification ring is also really wide this way, really thick as compared to the 5-25. I mean, you can see this here takes up about that much of my finger, and this one takes up significantly more of my finger. The other interesting thing, and I actually kind of liked it on the 5-25, is how the numbers were raised here a little bit. So when you're behind the gun, you can see what magnification you're on while staying in the scope. They flattened that out here, so I'm not really a fan of that, just because now you kind of have to like go for your head up a little bit if you actually want to see what mag you're in. Not a huge deal, but you know, just something to see, something to think about. I'm trying to point out the differences for you. Another interesting little detail is there's no more, like, I don't want to call it knurling, but texturing on the eyepiece ring here. It's all smoothed out. I kind of like a little bit of texture, just for a better grip, especially on these non-locking fast focus eyepieces, which I'm never a fan of in general. I always prefer a locking eyepiece, but to each their own. Some of you guys don't. All right. So this is it on a scope. As you guys saw in my IG video a couple days ago, the front end is really short. This rail is essentially almost diving off the front here. So, I mean, not a lot of room there. Granted, this is a larger width mount with the new Area 419 cantilever style, but still not a lot. So something like a spur that's really wide, probably gonna take up most of that. So mounting options gonna be a little interesting there. Another quick interesting thought is, so these are all gonna come with the parallax throw lever and a magnification ring throw lever, right? But the issue that you may run into with the diving board and the parallax throw lever is the fact that it's gonna hit the same way that your standard DLR does, and there's not a lot of room to move this ring forward because this section is so short. So you may have to run this without the magnification throw lever or without a diving board, essentially. Only very low profile diving boards are gonna fit on this. So like this 419 diving board won't be able to live on this scope if you decide to put the throw lever for the parallax knob on there. Same thing with some of the spurs, I believe, except for the super low profile ones. I think the Hawkins will clear, not entirely sure. Gonna just mostly be a trial by error if you guys really want to run a diving board and the parallax throw lever as well together on the same setup. I do think this could fit decently well on an AR where it fits on a precision bolt gun, I'm not sure. You could always go to individual rings, like some Hawkins or something like that, if you guys want to run it on a bolt gun. I don't necessarily see a problem running it on a bolt gun. Mag-wise, it's there. You know, we're all running 5 to 25s or some sort of that, and this obviously covers that with a large field of view. Let me try to get in here. All right. I want to throw up these FOV numbers so all you guys can take a look at that and compare to your current scopes. I also want to mention that the iBox, just picking up the scope up by hand without a rifle reference and a cheek rest reference, was rather easy to get behind. So, again, this is the DLR version here. Definitely an interesting scope, 36 ounces, so a little heavy for a quote-unquote crossover scope. I am still baffled at the decision to do a 50 mil objective and not just go full-fledged into a 56 mil objective. That will forever be a question to me. But there you guys have it, the new Kahles. Indoors, as best as I can tell, it looks good. Resolution looks good. The edges look good. Flare doesn't look too bad, but again, I'm indoors, so best I can do is point it towards a light on the roof, you know, at the edge of the field of view, and kind of see how that compares. And they do have it mounted on a rifle, so I can kind of sit behind it for a little while. But the true test is always out in the field, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's an interesting product, especially at the $4,300 price point. You're really stepping into that big boy territory more so than ever. So we'll see how it goes.